A short video introducing the 6 principles of safeguarding care. The 6 principles of safeguarding were first introduced by the Department of Health in 2011, but now they're embedded in the Care Act. These 6 principles apply to all health and care settings. So what are the 6 principles? The 6 principles are empowerment, prevention, proportionality, protection, partnership, and accountability. So what is empowerment? Empowerment is raising awareness and educating people to protect themselves. It's about empowering people with information, giving them advice and advocacy where necessary. It's about avoiding risk-averse practice. It's about reducing social isolation. It's about practicing relationship-based, person-centred working. It's about recognising the central role that carers play in the safeguarding process. It's about ensuring appropriate access to advocacy or to an independent mental capacity advocate should the person require one. It's about minimising risk with the options least restrictive of the person's rights and freedoms. It's about considering the use of mediation and family group conferences. Prevention. The saying prevention is better than the cure rings true for this key principle of safeguarding. It's about early interventions. It's about getting in before these problems develop. Where there are signs that abuse, harm or neglect could occur, it is essential that action is taken to stop a person being put in danger. It is important to raise awareness of who may be more likely to become vulnerable. For example, a vulnerable adult could include those with mental or physical disabilities, those with chronic or terminal illnesses, and the elderly. It's also important to be able to recognise the signs of abuse, harm and neglect. For this, thorough safeguarding training is crucial. It should be part of all care staff's induction, and they should understand clearly what they are looking for when we talk about the signs and symptoms of abuse. It's also important to make safeguarding advice and information easily accessible and to communicate with others so that signs can be recognised as early as possible. These can then be acted on in a timely manner before the situation deteriorates. Proportionality. Again, it's about being person-centred. It's about what does the person want? How does the individual want this to be handled? It's about addressing any mental capacity issues. It's about looking for any signs of coercion or duress. Is the person making these decisions of their own free will, or are they making these decisions because they are being coerced into doing so? It's about looking at who else is at risk. Does this safeguarding issue involve a wider number of people than just the person we are working with? We need to decide, who needs to be involved in these proceedings. Do we need, for example, to involve the police? If a crime has been committed, yes, we would need to get the police involved. We look at getting the appropriate support for victims, but we also need to consider the abusers as well. Do they need support through this process? Protection. The principle of protection reiterates the whole purpose of safeguarding, which is to support those who are vulnerable and protect them from harm. It must be done in the best possible way for the vulnerable person. Under this principle, organisations and individuals should understand safeguarding processes and best practice. They will need to know what to do if they have a safeguarding concern, how to stop danger from happening or escalating, and how to provide help and support to the vulnerable person who requires it. It's about making training and education accessible. It's about communicating between people and organisations so that everybody can do their part to ensure that we all know what to do when we're faced with a safeguarding concern. And if we do that, then we can protect the people that have been identified as being at risk. Partnership. It's about joint working, cooperation, sharing information. We found out in the past where we have had serious case reviews due to some very, very unfortunate abusive incidents which have led to serious problems and in some cases deaths. A lot of the issues have been caused by different organisations not sharing information with each other. So information sharing is crucial. It's about communication. It's about using a shared language so that everybody understands what we're talking about. It's about policy development. It's about clarity so that everybody understands the law, but also how that law relates to their particular role. It's about information sharing. It's about confidentiality. It's about understanding that in a safeguarding case, confidentiality is trumped. We have to protect that person. We need to only involve the people who are involved, but we need to make sure that everybody who needs that information gets it. We can't have organisations being protective of their own little parts of the information. Everybody needs that. It's about links between public protection forums, such as local safeguarding boards for adults and for children, about mappers, about health and wellbeing boards, and community safety partnerships. Joint work needs to be carried out to resolve issues where the individual may not be eligible for social care support, people who refuse support, and those who self-neglect. Recognition of the role of different partners is important so that we all know what part that person is playing. It avoids duplication and it makes sure that all areas are covered. And accountability. Everybody has a responsibility to keep others safe. If you're in contact with someone who may be vulnerable, it is your duty to recognise, record, respond and report any safeguarding concerns you have. It doesn't matter if you are that person's carer. It doesn't matter if you're another health professional, such as a doctor, a social worker. If you're a friend, a relative or a colleague of that person, you still have the responsibility to report your concerns. If we're going to try and ensure accountability, then we have to make sure that everybody within the organisation has clear roles and responsibilities. Everybody knows through up-to-date training and refreshers what their role is. They know the limit and they know the scope of their role. This stops people getting involved in areas which they're not trained to do. Everyone then understands exactly what they need to do, and everybody within that circle can be kept safe. I hope this